Good morning. This is Black Crow Walking, sharing with you a study in A Course of Love by Mari Perrin. And we're up to chapter 1, verse 14. And today we're continuing on from yesterday's message, which finished with the human training of stand on your own 2 feet and trying to do everything alone to achieve all those material possessions and achieve status and all that sort of crap. and realizing that we are never alone because we are this God consciousness, or we are love, and everything in the formless is love. So we are one energy experiencing physical life. And we're not alone doing it. We're not alone. And when we realize we are complete only within love, where we endlessly abide, where we are in our natural state, we are creating heaven, not hell. So verse 14 says, lack of striving is seen as a settling for less. This would be true if what you were striving for had value. To strive mightily for nothing is still to have nothing, and to end up with nothing. Striving, however, must be distinguished from struggle. To strive for that which has value is what this course is about. It has nothing to do with struggle. You think also that to struggle behind, to disengage from the conflict of this world that causes it, is to turn your back on the real world and all that has meaning in it. In this you think correctly, and yet you do not choose this option, thinking that to do so you turn your back on responsibility and on duty, thus counting this action as a noble one. This desire to engage in struggle has nothing to do with what you are responsible for. It is merely your ego's attempt to involve you in distraction that keep you from your real responsibility. This desire to engage in struggle has nothing to do with what you are responsible for. It is merely your ego's attempt to involve you in distractions that keep you from your real responsibility. Think again about your attraction to struggle. It is your attraction to the game, a game you hope to win, and another chance to show your stamina and your strength, your quick wits and your cunning mind. It is another chance to prevail against the odds so stacked against you that you can once again convince yourself that you alone have succeeded against mighty adversaries. It is the only way you see to prove your power and control over a world of chaos. To not engage in the chaos at all is seen not as desirable, but as a sort of abdication, a loss through failure to engage. Although you are well aware you will not win the game you play here, you see the effort to do so, no matter how futile, as being that which made up your life. To not engage is to not prove your own existence. This is what you have made this world for. to prove your separate existence in a world apart from your Creator. This world does not exist, and you do not exist apart from your Creator. Your yearning for love is what tells you this is so. It is the proof you do not recognize. What could cause you to yearn for love is a loveless world. By what means do you continue to recognize that love is at the heart of all things, even while it is not valued here? Here is a fine example that means and end that the means and end are the same. For love is what you are as well as what you strive for. Love is means and end. Love is means and end. All right. So from this day's reading, and I have read down to 15. No, I've read down to the end of 16 actually. It's telling us, well, it's showing us really what we've been doing from the thinking world. And I was just thinking about, while I was reading it, thinking about being in an executive suite on the 16th floor of some very busy company, striving to get recognized, striving to get the job done so that I was approved of, striving to be noticed by the boss, striving to be able to bring a paycheck home to prove that I'm a person of worth. And, that's what this story is all about, striving to be that in the world. And I'm not that. So it's showing us that there is another way to be in the world, where we don't have to create hell to do it, and yet we don't choose that. Imagine if all that we were striving for was just there when we loved. Imagine if we were so focused on loving, and that was who we are, which is what the truth is. We are love, and we're looking for ourselves in everything we do, really. So what if we were love, and the jobs and the money and the recognition came easily? What if that was how it is? Without striving. So much effort going into proving something that's already here. We are love. Imagine if love ruled that office. There'd be so much consideration and kindness, wouldn't there? And anybody that noticed you were striving would remind you to love yourself. How good would that be? So I'm going to read it again. I'm going to look at it from the context of we're creating the opposite to what we want, really. Lack of striving is seen as a settling for less. As soon as you're striving, you're settling for less than who you are, which is love. I'd like to say stop it. This would be true if what you were striving for had value. We're so conditioned, aren't we? We're so conditioned right from birth to think achieving has value. And yet, if we were just to love, everything would be achieved. Everything. Easily and effortlessly. It comes to you. We need to turn it back around and be our true, authentic selves. And within that, everything flows so easily. to strive mightily for nothing is still to have nothing and to end up with nothing. How many people have you heard, they've got all these millions, they've got their yachts, they've got their, especially living here on Lake Macquarie, I see the yachts every day. They've got their huge, huge houses, and they've got these amazing paying jobs where they're executives of something, or they own a company or whatever, and they're not happy. They're drinking themselves into oblivion every night, They don't even use the yacht. It just sits there rotting in the water. And that's what happens here, There's hundreds of yachts in the water out in front of my place, and they're not used. Hardly ever move. Sinking to the bottom on big rainy days because the owners haven't pumped out the bilge because they haven't been there for so long. Striving, however, must be distinguished from struggle. Now, I missed that bit. I didn't understand what they meant. To strive from that which has value is what this course is about. So they're asking you to turn it around. If you want to strive for something, strive for what has value, which is your internal loving self. That has value. And it's valued by everybody around you. It has nothing to do with struggle. You think also that to leave struggle behind, to disengage from the conflict of this world that causes it, is to turn your back on the real world and all that has meaning in it. Think about that in terms of COVID, in terms of war. Let's see what else it has to say. And yet you do not choose this option, thinking that to do so, you turn your back on responsibility and on duty, thus counting this action as a noble one. This desire to engage in struggle has nothing to do with what you are responsible for. It is merely your ego's attempt to involve you in distraction that keep you from your real responsibility. Think again about your attraction to struggle. It is your attraction to the game, a game you hope to win, against chance to show your stamina and your strength, your wits and your cunning mind. Yep. Oh dear. How many times have we struggled? We're trained to struggle. We're trained to be in our pain bodies. We're trained to strive and struggle. Get out there and strive and struggle. And then we object when blockages come. I remember when they said we could only walk 5 kilometres from our home to exercise for COVID. But what they didn't understand was that 5 kilometres has a radius, it has a circumference. So when I did the math, 5 kilometres was 32 kilometres if you walked around. And if you walked inside that 32 kilometres, it was too far to walk. And I guess that was my game, I didn't want to struggle to have to only walk the 5 kilometres every day in the same path. So I made a game of it. And life is a game, and we struggle against our own games. We do. There's your attraction to the game, a game you hope to win. Winning. Another chance to show your stamina and your strength and your quick wit and your cunning mind. That's what I was doing when I was playing that game. It is another chance to prevail against the odds so stacked against you that you once again convince yourself that you are alone and have succeeded against mighty adversaries. God, didn't we think we were alone when we had COVID or when we were with COVID or in the COVID rules? We thought we were alone, and yet there were ways we connected. Connecting through Zoom, connecting through the neighbours. You know, we became a community, didn't we? And it's the same when there's any disaster, community happens. You know, I remember being in Lismore, and even now in Lismore, community is so strong and pulling together. It is the only way you see to prove your power and control over the world of chaos. To not engage in the chaos at all is seen not as desirable. Yeah, we should care. But as a sort of abdication, a loss through failure to engage, you know, and that's why there was so much angst when we had all the protests against COVID and, you know, protesting against everything, really. We were protesting. And that's the angst. So it is only way to see to prove your power and control over the world of chaos. We wanted power and control over chaos. How madness is that? And yet, had we all returned to love, the internal journey of our true core essence, would we struggle? Would we fight against? Although you are well aware that although you are well aware you will not win the game you play, although you're well aware you won't win, you see the effort to do so, no matter how futile, as being that which makes up life. To engage is to not prove your own existence. I don't know, I involved myself in the war of toilet paper. I definitely wanted some. I didn't want to go to the supermarket and find none. You know, the world of fear, really, isn't it? To engage is not to prove your own existence. Is to not prove your own existence. This is what you have made this world for, to prove your separate existence in the world apart from your Creator. This world does not exist, and you do not exist apart from your Creator. Your yearning for love is what tells you this is so. It is a proof that you do not recognize. So I think if we were constantly in that world of having to prove our worth, we're creating a world that is totally against the reality of who we are, the truth of who we are, which is Creator experiencing life in form. No separation. No have-tos. No do-do-dos. No hurry, hurry, hurry. Just love attracting everything it needs. You are love. And when you are in the consciousness of that, creating your own heaven, everything aligns to meet your needs. Everything. I don't even have to ask now. All my needs are met, always. Everything I need comes easily and effortlessly. I am guided and directed because I love. I love myself and I love you and I love the trees. I love I love the greenness. I love the water. I love everything. And it keeps me in a constant state of bliss. And I guess right now, if I went into university and I applied, like I did many, many years ago, um, I applied to go to uni to do social welfare, and I walked into this dungeon, and this said to me, "I'm a Marxist. She's a feminist. What are you?" And I said, "I just want to help people," and so they labelled me as a Pollyanna. But who I really needed to help was myself. I needed to find that internal journey. And when I found it, everyone was helped because I was a different way in the world. I was a loving way, a way that created heaven, a way that allowed me to get out of the struggle and the stress and the anxiety of trying to live in this world that is so full of bullshit. Sorry, but it really is. I mean, and that's what we've created. As a society, as a humanity, we've created this whole illusion of nothing. So today, my friends, let's go out and love. Let's come inside us, and truly love ourselves and our own experience here as something that's delicious and blissful and happy, and every cell in our body is jumping for joy with love, because that's our natural state. I love you, and I wish you well in all that you do today through the heart of love. I wish you well in getting out of the mind, the striving, the struggle. Strive for love. That's what this is telling us. If you must strive for love. That's the right direction to go in. All right, beloveds, I'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.